The sound of the coqui occupies the night in the paradise island of Puerto Rico. It is a tiny frog that loses its croaking sound and life when it leaves the island. Anyone who has ever visited, vacationed, been stationed in the military or lived in Puerto Rico knows the voice of the coqui for its soothing sound they hear as they go to sleep. For those now living in Puerto Rico, their voices are not being heard, nor do they sleep. Hurricane Maria entered the Caribbean island of nearly 4 million inhabitants last week with record winds and damages. Puerto Rico is no longer the paradise it once was and has sustained catastrophic damage to its infrastructure, homes, and ecological system. The island was not prepared for Hurricane Maria and is now suffering from lack of water, food, electrical power, gasoline fuel and no money. ATMs are down without electrical power and many cleared the grocery shelves just prior to Hurricane Irma hitting the island a few weeks ago. Gas station wait times are 4 to 7 hours long and roads are flooded or washed out. Cell towers have been decimated and communication with those on the island is limited at best for a few. Also, the relief response is very slow. The lack of response by President Donald Trump has left residents of Puerto Rico being compared to those affected by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Dead bodies are now being found, federal response is slow, and our commander-in-chief stated previously that he wants to revoke the citizenship of Puerto Ricans. Making matters worse is that you can't drive to Puerto Rico to assist in responding as we saw in Katrina and recently in Houston with Hurricane Harvey. I am proud of my father for serving in the Army during the Korean War. I am proud of my Uncle Joe for serving in the Army during World War II, and my Uncle Johnny for serving in the Army during Vietnam. Puerto Ricans are proud of their military service and have participated in every military engagement since World War I. They have distinguished themselves on the battlefield in every war and conflict. They have 5 Medal of Honor recipients from the Vietnam War, and the 65th Infantry Regiment was honored and recognized in 2014 with a Congressional Gold Medal. I was always told by my father that the military always takes care of their own and they never leave someone on the battlefield. While we are not at war in Puerto Rico, a battle is taking place for necessities, food and water. Puerto Ricans are being left to die on the streets and in their homes with little to no regard for the current human suffering. Today, military veterans with their families are being turned away at the main gate of Fort Buchanan. They are normally allowed to enter the base and commissary to provide for their loved ones. Many Americans are not familiar with the role of Puerto Rico during World War II or the high representation of Puerto Ricans serving in our military. Recently, Puerto Ricans voted for citizenship and could be the 51st state in our nation. Should that be the case, are they currently being ignored because they are not a U.S. state? As members of a U.S. Commonwealth, Puerto Ricans are proud Americans and will get through the barriers being placed by our current president. I hope Americans collectively will push for a more urgent relief response to the island. No water and no food equals death and starvation. I guarantee the coqui will sing once again, but not until our president understands that Puerto Ricans are citizens of the United States, and that it's not an island far, far away. Rivera, a San Diego resident and former sheriff's deputy, is a graduate student on fellowship at the University of California, Riverside. He examines intersectionality of the military into local policing,